ValveTime.net.
Hi, and welcome to the ValveTime News. Each week, or two, we'll bring you the biggest talking points regarding Valve and the community. It has definitely been an extremely busy 2 weeks, and while we promised to have the last episode out much earlier this week after Nick and Glenn returned from the Eurogamer Expo in London, a constant stream of news continued to pour out, with news topics quite literally arriving by the day. We thought it would be best to hold off on the episode until things quieted down here on the weekend in order to prevent an episode becoming quickly outdated. Hopefully you won't be so mad at us for delaying the episode once you take a look at this photograph of site director Glenn meeting his lifelong hero Gordon at the expo last weekend. And with that, let's get on with another ValveTime bi-weekly news roundup. Now, the news. Valve recently announced that they would begin discussing some major changes regarding the future of the Steam platform. The first of 3 major updates was revealed on Monday the 23rd of September at around 5 p.m. GMT and introduced SteamOS, a new standalone Linux-based operating system set to combine the best elements of the Steam client and the open-source nature of Linux. The announcement post shown here mentions that the SteamOS will be made available as a free download sometime in 2014, and that the new operating system will be joined by a host of new features designed to enhance the user experience. 2 of the features, known as Family Sharing and Family Options, are already starting to be introduced into the main Steam client, as the Family Sharing beta began shortly after the announcement of SteamOS. The Family Options will function as an updated version of the Family Sharing feature by allowing users to have more control over which game titles can be viewed or played by which other members of select family groups. The other 2 features are far more interesting, however, as Valve mentions that they are currently working with a variety of the world's most popular streaming services, potentially allowing users to access music, TV, film, and other media directly on Steam itself on both the standalone operating system and the main client. Returning viewers may remember a series of Spotify code fragments which we previously reported were found included with the Steam update a little while back, and we believe that code was directly linked to this upcoming functionality. Finally, SteamOS computers will also feature in-home streaming, which will presumably use Miracast technology to allow any computer running SteamOS or the Steam client to wirelessly stream their existing library of games to another SteamOS PC over a local area network.
Technology and new functionality like Miracast, we see that as an opportunity for things like Steambox, Big Picture, because we're finally trying to understand what are the ways that we can take advantage of all this great functionality that we're getting from Intel. I've got a screen in the den, I've got a screen in the living room. How can we take advantage of that? What architectures are enabled? Miracast is a great technology that's going to allow people to cost efficiently distribute great gaming experiences around their home. If I can play it in the den and I can play it in the living room, and I can still use everything that I like about the internet, like Face.
This potentially allows Valve to overcome one of the largest problems regarding the use of Linux as a gaming platform, as while only several hundred of Steam's 3,000 game library feature official support for Linux. SteamOS will theoretically allow gamers to wirelessly stream any Windows or Mac game onto a single device regardless of whether or not the game features official support. The second announcement, which arrived 48 hours later on Wednesday the 25th of September, revealed Steam Machines, a series of living room-focused hardware devices previously referred to by the community as the Steam Box. As many of us have already guessed, the Steam Machines are not a singular device developed independently by Valve, but are actually a much larger range of similarly focused products developed by a number of third-party hardware developers. While every device will be custom-built by a different manufacturer, every Steam machine will run SteamOS as the native operating system, but each will feature drastically different technical specifications and price points in a fashion similar to how pre-built PCs are sold in retail stores today. The announcement page also revealed an upcoming hardware beta for the Steam Machines project, a beta which will see Valve ship 300 of their internal prototype units out to a number of lucky Steam members who managed to complete the Hardware Beta Eligibility Quest. A new Steam Hardware Beta Candidate badge has been added to the Steam community to track specific requirements for completing the quest and becoming eligible for the beta. The tests themselves include joining the new Steam Universe Steam Community group, agreeing to the hardware beta terms and conditions, adding 10 friends to your friends list, creating a public Steam community profile, and playing a game with a controller while in Steam's Big Picture mode. If you're looking to sign up to the beta, you would best get a move on, as entry into the beta candidate pool closes on October the 25th, 2013, giving you only a few weeks to complete your quest. Good luck to everyone who plans on entering, as only 300 individuals can be randomly selected from the current roster of over 310,000 eligible candidates. Since the reveal of Steam machines, Valve have come forward and announced some vague figures regarding the technical specifications of the 300 beta units set to be distributed once the beta begins sometime between October the 25th and the end of this year. As explained in a post on the Steam Universe community group, Valve estimates that their own prototype will be aimed towards a high-end user, with some machines featuring NVIDIA Titan graphics cards, Intel i7-4770 processors, and up to 16GB of DDR3 RAM. The machines will also feature a 1TB 8GB SSHD hybrid and a 450W 80+ Gold power supply. However, not every beta machine will feature the same technical specifications, as for testing purposes, some other machines will feature the less powerful GTX 780 or GTX 660 graphics card, alongside Intel's i5 or i3 processors. The Steam machine prototype is estimated to be around 12 inches by 12.4 inches by 2.9 inches, making it slightly thinner and shorter than Microsoft's upcoming Xbox One console, but also slightly longer. The prototypes are designed to find the optimal starting point for Valve's own retail unit, even though the final systems will be upgradable and customizable similar to any other PC, helping to further highlight the distance between the Steam machine concept and traditional closed gaming consoles. If you're looking to learn more about the upcoming Steam machines and Valve's own prototypes, be sure to head on over to the official announcement page to read a lengthy FAQ on the subject. 2 days after the reveal of Steam machines, Valve announced the Steam Controller, a new type of controller aimed at bridging the gap between PC and console interfaces. The controller shown here is currently a prototype model set to be distributed alongside the Steam machines in the 300-unit beta later this year. Unlike most modern gaming controllers, the Steam controller does not feature analog sticks, and instead features a pair of center touchpads designed to provide more precision than that of the much older alternative. The controller features a total of 16 buttons, including A, B, X, Y, a pair of shoulder triggers, a series of buttons on a frontal touchscreen, amongst several others, all of which are shown in this diagram. The beta controllers will only be available as wired-only models, while the final designs will feature the option of being wired or wireless using a USB cable attached to the top of the device. The beta controllers will also feature 4 physical buttons in place of the touchscreen present in the final version. To accommodate for the lack of physical feedback on the dual trackpads, the Steam controller will feature innovative, super precise haptic feedback in the form of strong electromagnets, which will be able to provide vibrations from the rear of each trackpad. The vibrations can also reportedly be used to play audio waveforms and function as a simplistic speaker, although the page provides no information regarding the potential quality of the sound produced. Unlike traditional third-party controllers, which require games to feature built-in support in order to function, the Steam controller will feature a legacy mode, which will allow the device to present itself as a keyboard and mouse, hypothetically allowing the controller to automatically support the full catalog of existing games in the Steam store. Similar to the Steam machines, the Steam controller has been designed from the ground up with openness in mind, and Valve are encouraging users to hack the device in order to improve, modify, and customize their controller any way the individual sees fit. Valve are promising to reveal more information regarding the Steam controller and all the other hardware pursuits in the Steam Universe community group in the upcoming weeks and months. So be sure to head on over and join if you're looking to stay up to date. Valve's Jira network was once again cataloged earlier this week after users on both NeoGAF and the Steam-powered user forums found that the internal network was once again left accessible to the public. The Jira system, which is used by Valve for project management purposes, was previously left accessible in June 2013, which resulted in the confirmation of a host of Valve projects, including Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, and Source 2, amongst others. While no new projects were found on the Jira database during the most recent incident, data miners were able to confirm that the Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, and Source 2 teams had grown substantially since June, demonstrating that far more employees are beginning to focus on each of these projects. A new Half-Life 3 core group has been added, which is now listed below the previously available Half-Life 3 group. Both of the Half-Life 3 groups have also grown and attracted more developers from across the company, which is extremely good news, especially when you consider that Half-Life 2 Episode 2 is 6 years old later this week. In regards to Left 4 Dead 3, we now understand that Emily Ridgway, Valve's newest musical composer, is working alongside Team Fortress 2 and Portal 2 composer Mike Moraski to produce the game's original score. The database has also allowed us to confirm that fan-favorite Half-Life and Half-Life 2 composer and designer Kelly Bailey has returned to Valve after several years away, and we are happy to report that he is listed in the Left 4 Dead 3 and Half-Life 3 main groups, highlighting that he is somehow involved with both projects. The Left 4 Dead 3 team also boasts prominent developers including Josh Weir, one of Portal 2's lead developers, and Doug Church, a high-profile developer responsible for working on the System Shock, Ultima, Thief, and the Deus Ex series. Portal and Left 4 Dead writers Chet Falazek and Eric Wolpaw are both listed in the Left 4 Dead 3 groups, while Eric is also listed alongside Half-Life writer Mark Laidlaw in the Half-Life 3 group. Our staff team are extremely pleased with both the quantity and quality of the talented developers currently listed within the Half-Life 3 and Left 4 Dead 3 mailing groups. While the Source 2 project has also seen an interesting boost in employees, we should stress that it still seems unlikely that any of us will get to see the next-gen engine or either its flagship games anytime soon, but at least everyone can rest easy knowing they exist and that all 3 projects are getting the attention they rightfully deserve. Links to the full list of developers involved with the projects are available on a news post over on the ValveTime.net website. In addition to discovering the Jira leak, NeoGAF users were also rooting around on the Trademarks and Design Registration Office of the European Union website earlier this week when they unearthed a mysterious trademark listing supposedly for Half-Life 3. The trademark was filed on September 29th, and while it appears to feature all the relevant information regarding Valve and their European legal representatives, the filing itself was never appropriately examined before being removed from the site entirely sometime in the first few days of October. Most game developers, including Valve, already own numerical trademarks and web addresses for potential future games far ahead of time in order to protect their intellectual properties, so it is more than likely that Valve already owns the Half-Life 3 trademark, especially when you consider that the likes of Dota 3 are already publicly listed as trademarks. No equivalent trademark for Half-Life 3 was ever filed in the US Patents and Trademark Office, further suggesting that this particular trademark was some kind of elaborate hoax. A filing for Portal 3 was added on October the 2nd, something which is even more likely to be fake given that there is currently no sign of a Portal 3 development team at Valve, as we have been able to confirm with the aforementioned Jira database incident. Even though these trademark filings may be fake, we are confident that Half-Life 3 does indeed exist at this point, but we feel it extremely unlikely that Valve will be looking to make another game in the Portal series anytime soon, if at all. We'll be sure to bring you more information regarding any of Valve's future projects if and when we learn more from a reputable source. This past week saw the announcement of the 3rd annual Saxxy Awards, the Team Fortress 2 themed filmmaking competition. This year's competition will follow a format similar to last year, as entrants must once again create source filmmaker shorts and submit them to a specific category. This year's competition is currently limited to only 5 categories, which include Best Action, Best Drama, Best Comedy, Best Short, and Best Overall. An announcement blog post on the Source Filmmaker website mentions that Valve have cut the Best Replay category as the team feels the category doesn't allow filmmakers to tell stories like in the remaining categories, all of which require the use of the SFM and some animation experience. Filmmakers have until mid-November to complete their videos, as all entries must be submitted in the week between midnight GMT on November the 12th and November the 18th. Community voting will then begin and will run from November the 18th until November the 24th, at which point Valve will begin selecting their favorites of the nominees before announcing the overall winner of each category by November the 26th. The winners for each category will be awarded with a rare Saxxy item for Team Fortress 2, a special melee weapon which turns enemies to solid gold when killed. The winner of the Best Overall category will also be flown to Valve's headquarters in Seattle, Washington for a tour of the company and to meet Valve's team of filmmakers. For more details regarding this year's competition, be sure to head on over to the SFM blog or the Team Fortress 2 website. If you feel you haven't quite had your fill of Half-Life this past week, you might want to head over to the MachinimaPrime channel to check out Half-Life: Raise the Bar, a new live-action fan film released on Friday of this week. The film, which lasts around 6 minutes, focuses on the scientists caught up in the destructive events shortly before and after the resonance cascade at Black Mesa during the original Half-Life. The video doesn't exactly stay truly faithful to the original source material, and the acting can be a little wonky at times, but Raise the Bar is definitely worth a watch if you've been dying for more Half-Life themed content.
Denied. Open the door! Access denied.
At the beginning of this episode, we mentioned how Nick and Glenn were both visiting the Eurogamer Expo in London last weekend. While Valve themselves weren't in attendance, our team did come across a small booth demonstrating the Omni Directional Treadmill, a device which takes motion gaming to a whole new level by directly replicating the player's physical movements into their respective video game character. The developers at the booth periodically used Half-Life 2, Team Fortress 2, an Oculus Rift virtual reality headset, an Xbox 360 controller, and a Kinect to demonstrate the device in action live on the show floor. We recently released a brand new ValveTime Spotlight video which uses footage taken straight from the expo to provide a closer look at how the hardware was used to play Team Fortress 2. A link to the Spotlight video will be included in the video description, alongside links to every other topic we have discussed this week, including full write-ups on ValveTime.net, announcement pages, and much more. And that brings us neatly to the end of another 2 weeks of Valve news. This episode was positively overflowing with news, but we'll be returning to our usual weekly release schedule next weekend, so don't forget to subscribe for more ValveTime videos, news, and reviews coming soon. If you're looking to support us directly, you may want to head on over to our Dota 2 announcement pack submission over on the Steam Workshop to rate us positively. Alternatively, you could check out the donation page on the Combine Over Wiki, the Half-Life and Portal themed community wiki which is hosted by us on the ValveTime.net server. The wiki is currently looking for donations to help fund its hosting costs, so be sure to head on over if you want to contribute. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.